Hey y'all, so in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how I use the bullet journal system as a third-year medical student. If you are new to the bullet journal system, it's good to watch this video. I'm gonna put it like right here on top of my hand so you can click on it. You should go and watch this video before you watch my video so that the terms that I use in this video won't be too confusing and will be more familiar to you. Basically, the bullet journal system is a journaling system that's based on 5 main sections. Basically, there's the index, which basically helps you keep track of where things are in your journal, right? Secondly, there's the future log, which is a way to log future events that are coming up. For example, let's say you're in the month of March, but you want to make sure you don't forget about an event that's coming up in August or in June, for example. You can put that in your future log and that'll help you remember that event. The third section is the monthly log, which I don't really use. And then there's the daily log, which I use frequently. And then there's the collections, which could be anything. You can track habits, certain goals, you can keep a gratitude log. You can do a bunch of different things with your collections. The bullet journal system, at least for me, is kind of like a combination of a to-do list, a planner, and a little more than that. I prefer the system to planners because sometimes there are days where I don't create a to-do list. There are times where, I just don't write down stuff in my daily log or, tasks to do. And I think sometimes having a planner, I would feel like I was wasting paper, wasting certain pages. So I love the bullet journal system because of how customizable it is to my life. I use the bullet journal system to basically stay on track with my school requirements. Right now I'm doing rotations, and as I go through each rotation, I create like a calendar for each rotation, and depending on how long I'll be like on that rotation. The bullet journal system is also a way for me to keep notes and a way to basically take down notes while I'm at the hospital, and in a way to study too. Sometimes I take down notes as I'm studying. So yeah, this is the bullet journal system that I used while I was on my psychiatry rotation and part of my primary care month. And the first page here is my index. As you can see, this is it right here. The index is basically a way of keeping track of what's on each page. So you want to make sure that you number your pages in your bullet journal. And at the top right corner here, I just have numbers letting me know how many boxes are across the page and how many boxes are going down. This is a gridded notebook. So next, on this page, I'm showing you guys my future log, which basically I did for 6 months. So from the month of August all the way to December, I have a list of events and appointments that I want to make sure I remember and keep in mind as I was going through the year last year. Okay, so now on this page, I'm showing you my calendar, basically for my psychiatry rotation, which lasted 6 weeks. I basically drew out a calendar, like a 6-week calendar, letting me know, like, okay, from the month of August through part of September, I would be on my psychiatry rotation. And on days when I had events to go to, I would highlight it. So like events, right here, as you can see, events is highlighted here. So basically every day that I had an event, I would highlight that day. And then on Tuesdays, we would have didactics, which is basically just lectures. And so I would just kind of like put a little marker just reminding me that these are the days that I have lectures. And lastly, on Tuesdays as well, I would spend the mornings in outpatient psychiatry. So that's kind of how I use the bullet journal system. Now I want to show you guys my daily log. So this is an example of a daily log. You basically write down different things that you need to do in that day, maybe events that you're going through on that day. For me, in addition to that, I would kind of write notes and make notes during the day as I go through each rotation. So during my psych rotation, sometimes we would have lectures at the site or at the hospital, and so during those days I would actually take notes, and then I would go back to the index page and then just like make sure that I know that on page 9, for example, we had a lecture on this topic or whatever other topic. An important component of the daily log and my future log is the key, you know. So this is my key. I hope you guys can see. Focus. Is it focusing? Focus. Okay, so this is my key, and a dot will represent a task, right? And if I moved a certain task to a different day or a different month, maybe I would kind of put this migrated task sign there, and then under that is the events, meetings, or appointments key. So circles basically represented events, meetings, or appointments for me. And then if a task was completed, I would just put a dash across. And then if I canceled a certain task, then I would just put an X. And then basically any notes that I would take during the day would be a dash. So this is pretty much my key in my bullet journal. Hope you can see it. Okay. I want to show you guys again what my index looks like. So if you're looking at my index, for example, I would take notes while I was studying in my bullet journal as well. So on page 20 and 21, I basically have notes on psychotic disorders. Say I want to review psychotic disorders, or I'm having trouble remembering something that I wrote down on it. I would just go to my index, and then I would say, oh, on page 20 and 21, that's when I wrote about psychotic disorders. So then I would flip to page 20 and 21, and boom. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, so this is everything that I wrote down or that I felt like was important for me to remember concerning psychotic disorders. So next I want to share with you some collections or examples of collections. One of them is grocery list. So I have a page in one of my other bullet journals. Basically just every time I go grocery shopping, I put the date and then I put the amount of things that I'm getting. So I have just like one page dedicated to a grocery list. I'll show you an example of that. This is it. And then during the month of January, I tried to do something like a sleep tracker, but it didn't really work out just because I didn't have enough hours sometimes to really highlight how much sleep I was getting during that month. And right next to it, I kept a mood tracker, which if you guys can see, from day 1 all the way to day 31, I would keep track of all the different moods that I had during the day, if I was happy and excited, if I was motivated, if I was just neutral or content, unmotivated, if I was anxious or worried about something, if I was feeling angry or grumpy, if I felt lonely, if I felt sad. Basically all of that was documented here. Each day, there were certain days where I like didn't document anything. That happens sometimes with bullet journaling, but for the most part, it's actually kind of fun. As you make these collections and you put them in certain pages, you always have to turn back to your index. This is another bullet journal that I've used. You go back to your index and then you just kind of write down, oh, on this page, this is where my block schedule is, or this is where my grocery lists are, or this is where my period tracker is. let me show y'all that. This is my first time using the period tracker. I generally don't really use it, but this is the one that I'm using right now. So throughout the year, I'll be using this. I have a key for this. So let's see. This is to signify a heavy flow. This is a medium flow. This is for light flow. And then this is just for spotting. So during the days when I'm menstruating, then like that's what you'll see here. I also did like a mood and a sleep tracker on the same page using different keys. I hope you guys can see this. I think you should be able to. And sometimes I forget, like I don't really keep track sometimes of how many hours I'm sleeping, or what my mood is like during that day, but this is generally, what collections are like. I also want to show you, 2 more examples of collections that I used when I first started using the bullet journal system. So this is like the first time I used the bullet journal system, and I actually combined that with the journal that I was using, or my diary at the time. But this is an example of a collection, right? So this is basically my YouTube video ideas, and on my index it would tell me that, oh, on page 17, that's where I wrote down all of the YouTube video ideas that will come to me like during the day or whatever. People also do gratitude logs, and I used to do that as well. I no longer do it, but when I did, I liked this way of logging basically anything that I was grateful for. It's kind of like a sun, and then like the rays of the sun, and then for each day, let's say, like, so this was during the month of March last year. On the 1st of March, I was grateful for donuts and yeah, Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And then I was grateful on the 2nd, I was grateful for my home, and then I was grateful for Solange's album. And basically so on and so forth. Anyways, yeah, so that's another example of a collection. If you're interested in this system, if this interests you, you should definitely watch other videos. I watch several of them. Sometimes it's easy to get like caught up, but I think it's a really, really fun and actually efficient system if you make the time for it, and if you really think that it'll be helpful for you. People can be really creative with this bullet journal system. People draw in their bullet journal. Some people even use it as like their main journal. So like they combine like daily journaling, you know, like a kind of like a diary. They combine that with the bullet journal system, and that works for some people. I've tried that. It doesn't work for me. I prefer to like keep my diary or my journal separate from the bullet journal system, which is really supposed to help me manage my time a lot better. So yeah, it's kind of up to you. I would like to be a little more creative with my bullet journal. I just need to figure out how I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.